Lin Bay stood in front of Moing. She merely stared at him in horror, unsure what he was going to do. Lin Bay informed her that he had disappointed him greatly. The bitch just glanced down, saying nothing. The leader of the Chuyun sect cautiously informed Lin Bay that he had done what he had instructed. He inquired whether he could release him immediately. Lin Bay turned back, amused that he really believed he was going to let him go alive. He yelled at him, calling him an idiot. When Moing and her father heard this, they were frightened. Mo Lingyun collapsed in horror as Lin Bei did not follow his promise. Lin Bei didn't care what this idiot said and slammed his hand on his chest, with a huge smile on his face. Mo Lingyun died in shock, and Lin Bei reminded him in a contemptuous tone that being dishonest is how people are treated. To treat monsters like you while keeping your body intact is the height of charity and fairness. Moing froze in astonishment, unable to believe her father had perished. Lin Bei turned around and informed her that it was her time. The bitch laughed hysterically, yelling that it was all their fault. She yelled that if she had murdered him fully that day, none of this would have occurred. She continued to yell like a bitch that even if he kills them, he won't live long. With a mad grin on her lips, she informed him that he had already murdered her spouse and would be unable to go ahead in this world. He must battle not just the demon Sealing Hall, but also the relentless pursuit of other high powers. Moing was certain that he would be slain by other senior forces, so she laughed maniacally and said that she was waiting for him in hell. Lin Bei got tired of hearing this woman's laugh, so he murdered her with a single shot. When she collapsed lifeless on the ground, he sneered, knowing that even if those elite troops pursued him, he would deal with them. But he also understands that what she said was accurate, since the following round may be quite tough. But he was not concerned since this would serve as a test for him, allowing him to become stronger. He was confident, and thought that he was meant to be on top of the world. When the golden bird heard it, he chuckled in his mind because he couldn't believe a young child in the Tumai realm would dare to say such pompous things. But the golden bird was looking forward to seeing how far he could go. Inside the demon's Sealing Hall, a big guy was sitting on a throne, chuckling, telling Sect Master Xie to take a seat since there's no need to be so reserved. Master Xie hesitantly declined the offer, telling him that he may simply stand. The guy smiled bitterly, realizing that Sect leader Xie is a touch too vocal. He said that because Xie Fei revered him in the demon Sealing Palace, he and him became one family. Why would they do this? Come sit down. He spoke aggressively. Master Xie turned his head to gaze at the unoccupied seat. He nodded and ultimately agreed with what he said, thanking the heavy Master Tu for offering him a seat. Someone walked in, bowed, and said that he had a report. When Master Xie passed the man who was due to report to his master, he looked at him attentively, wondering what he was about to report about, given that he was in a rush. The person confided to the Heavenly Master about what had transpired in the Chuyun sect. After hearing what the reporter had to say, the Heavenly Master stopped Master Xie from taking a seat. When Master Xie heard his stern tone, he hurriedly turned around, shivering with fright. The Heavenly Master informed him that he had awful news. When Master Xie heard this, he became frightened and inquired what was happening. The Heavenly Master answered that Lin Bai of the Izumos sect has returned and that the protagonist went up to the Izumos sect to behead Mo Lingyun and Mo Ying. When Master Xie heard Lin Bei's name, he began sweating bullets and exclaimed that this was impossible since he had seen him die. Not only that, but his son Xie Fei has also died. The Demon Sealing Palace has also lost an elder. Master Xie felt horrified because he couldn't believe this. He knew the creepy uncle was at the 5th level of the Pulse Explosion realm, and he couldn't believe someone so powerful was murdered by Lin Bei. The Heavenly Master's eyes changed color and flashed crimson as he understood Lin Bei had a significant secret, and that there was something fishy going on that he was unaware of. In a gloomy tone, he questioned Xie sect leader whether he would not conceal anything from them. He promptly answered in a frightened tone that he would not conceal anything from them. The heavenly master just hummed while staring at him earnestly. A minute later, he smiled warmly, indicating that he finally believed him. He then shouted out to Elder Zhao. The heavenly master instructed Elder Zhao that this Lin Bei deserved to die for murdering the elders and core followers of the demon's sealing hall. He instructed her to bring him back. She agreed with his instruction. The heavenly master was saddened and upset that he had lost the limitless purgatory body. In the back of his mind, Master Xiao was enraged, gritting his teeth in wrath, knowing that he and Lin Bei would now be at war with one another. Lin Bei grabbed all of heaven's goods, resources, and soil that Mo Lingyun, an ancient hound, had robbed for many years and made them his own. He was pleased and even more surprised that there are 2 3-star demon cores among them. After he has improved it, he may be able to immediately enter the 3rd level of the Pulse Extension realm. The Golden Bird was upset that Lin Bei would regard the 2 3-star demon cores as if they were incredible treasures, when in reality, they were merely little bits of rubbish. In the back of his memory, he recalled that his celestial palace had many heavenly riches, as well as various spiritual and magical weaponry heaped up in different chambers. Xiaojin grew melancholy because he missed lying on the heaven-level amethyst white jade bed and taking the heaven-level elixir. Lin Bei smiled as he looked at his golden bird. He then gave the bird the elixir, telling him that he had benefited him much and that this was for him. The bird was startled that his owner was feeding him such a low-grade elixir that not even dogs would consume it. For a long time, he glanced at the elixir with contempt. He grew furious and upset that this is what he has been reduced to. Xiaojin decided to forget about it and take the pills since it was better than nothing. Lin Bei misunderstood what the bird was thinking as he felt it was nice that he offered him a rare elixir. Lin Bei did not waste any time when the bird had finished ingesting the pill. He grabbed the bird and raced away as swiftly as possible. Lin Bei put his golden bird on his shoulder, and they began to make their way down the stairs, which were a little farther away from their destination. The golden bird looked at Lin Bei and thought to himself that if he wanted to take revenge, the people in the sect, even flowers, cats, and dogs, would all be killed, all of them. The golden bird promised himself that if the kid cannot show mercy to this idiot, even if it is an egg yolk, he will shake it away for him. He implied that he would show no mercy to Lin Bei's enemies. He was a little bit disappointed, believing that this kid was too kind and soft-hearted. He glanced back to the Chuyan sect and thought to himself that regardless of letting people go, all the sects of the Azian sect will keep. He wanted to say more, but he stopped in shock as he saw the entire Chuyan sect explode in a violent explosion. The golden bird just froze in shock. Lin Bei smiled darkly, proving the golden bird wrong as he did not show mercy to the entire clan as he just eliminated them all. And he is going to continue to do so to the other sects that were associated with the Chuyan sect. Xiaojin sighed a sigh of relief, knowing that this kid was indeed evil. 1 month later, near the eastern border of Xinjiang, Lin Bei and the people he met a month earlier were trekking across the desert. All of the people, including himself, were exhausted, despite the fact that he was just sitting on a cow that seemed to be tireder than him. He wasn't even embarrassed because seniors were strolling, and he was sitting on a cow. The elderly guy smiled, addressing him as village chief, and informed him that their squad is becoming stronger. Lin Bei smiled awkwardly and agreed with his statement. He was nonetheless surprised when, a few days after exacting his retribution on the Chuyun cult, he fled with the villagers that he helped. Flashback. The old man was on his knees, begging the young master to be their village head from now on. Lin Bei was astonished and perplexed that the elderly guy was doing this, but he eventually accepted the position. The old man is giving up his position as chief because he believes that if Lin Bei leads his tribe, they will have a better chance of survival. The second reason he did this is because he wants to help the old and young. The old man assured the residents that their village leader is amazing and would be able to manage anything from now on. Lin Bei groaned, knowing that with so many people, it reflected how terrible the people of eastern Xinjiang were under the Azumos sect's oppressive rule. Lin Bay then reassured the elderly man that as long as they passed through this desert, they would arrive at the southern province of Xinjiang. Once they get in the southern area of Xinjiang, they will settle down and search for a way out. Lin Bei remembered teaching a few young men from the same village martial arts, and even though this Xingniu body refining art is only the most basic body refining method, it is enough for them to practice to the first level of enlightenment, which can be regarded as a step into the warrior. The elderly guy recommended something to Lin Bei, noting that they now had a huge number of people. Perhaps he might consider founding a sect in southern Xinjiang. Lin Bei felt quickly captivated by the idea of forming his own sect as he thought about it. People were waiting for Lin Bei and his villagers ahead of time, and one person was already delighted since, according to the report, Lin Bei will undoubtedly pass by here. When the moment comes, all he wants is to catch him alive and bring him to the demon ceiling palace. He grinned darkly, thinking that this battle would be as simple as crushing an ant. The others agreed that it would be a fantastic day for their brothers. Elder Zhao only chuckled as she listened to their discourse. The old man pointed in a certain location, informing the sect leader that there is a moon spring ahead where they may relax. Lin Bei was surprised that he had changed his name so quickly, as he now addressed him as the sect leader. He smiled awkwardly, and he agreed with what he said and directed them all to relax there. The people who were going to catch Lin Bei saw him walking with a large group of people and questioned what was going on since they didn't understand why Lin Bei had brought so many people. The other person assumed that he had taken the whole Izumo sect with him. Elder Zhao called the guy a foolish pig and told him to look closely since, in addition to the elderly, weak, ill, and disabled, there are some regular young and strong individuals here, so there is nothing to be concerned about. Lin Bei smirked as he realized that this gathering of individuals had heard of his murdering of members from the Chuyan sect. It's a shame they're simply a bunch of chickens and dogs since they didn't even have the power to defeat him. He decided to get down from his cow. He chose to survey the land first before his people could settle there and rest. The elderly guy advised the sect leader to be cautious. The person who really wanted to fight Lin Bei yelled at him, saying there is a route to heaven but he won't take it, and there is no door to hell except for him to break in. He yelled angrily that he deserved to die for upsetting the demon ceiling palace. Therefore, they'd kill him today. Lin Bei was eager to test his strength, so he ordered everyone to come and get it. Everyone leaped from the mountain's edge and descended, rushing towards the protagonist in order to battle, but they also wanted to use this opportunity to steal his property and money, which was right in front of them. Lin Bei frowned. These idiotic idiots were too cocky for their own good, so he decided to give them a lesson, so he raised his fist. And he prepared to hit as a golden glow enveloped his fist. He then hit the air, and the force created by his punch blasted out a section of the mountain, defeating all of the warriors there with a single punch. The warriors collapsed on the ground, unconscious. Every warrior was there, looking wounded and injured save for one, Elder Zhao, who was pretending to be unconscious. She opened one eye and smirked. The elderly man thanked the sect leader, telling him that there were many people trying to capture him along the road, but no one could stop his fist. Lin Bei clenched his fist and informed the elderly man that they were all idiots trying to cling to the mighty. Lin Bei was perplexed as to why no one from the demon ceiling palace or Rao Taizong pursued him for so long. The elderly man reassured him that after traveling through this oasis, they would be in southern Xinjiang, and he doesn't have to worry too much. Lin Bei glanced down, calmed by the elderly guy, yet he was still concerned. Lin Bei instructs the elderly man to arrange for everyone to rest where they are, and once refreshed, they will hurry into southern Xinjiang. The old man agreed with what he said. All the idiotic morons were tied up and gagged, and they attempted to untangle themselves. The villagers didn't bother looking at them as they went about their business and relaxed. Lin Bei sat cross-legged on a high hill, staring out at all of his people. The golden bird was sleeping peacefully. He was thinking to himself, and he wondered if he may be able to form a sect. While buried in concentration, He sensed someone observing him from behind, so he hurriedly whirled around, but it was too late. Elder Zhao pointed a little knife on his back, and she murmured to him, instructing him not to move. Lin Bei inquired as to her identity. She mumbled that he was a little child with no defense. She identified herself as Zhao Qing, the elder of the Demon Sealing Hall. She informed him that she was aware that there was a very strong monster near him. But now, at this distance, as long as he does not move hastily, she would murder him instantaneously, she warned him. Lin Bei stared at her, stating that if she meant to murder him, she would have done it long ago. He inquired about her true objective, and he questioned whether she only wanted to chat to him. She congratulated him with a sympathetic tone, telling him he's a brilliant lad, and then got right to the point, telling him it's simple, she wants his physique. Lin Bei was not shocked that she had come for his physique. With an amused tone, she reminded her that they had already taken his physique without permission. He then asked her if she was frightened of the Demon Sealing Palace's retribution. Elder Zhao's greed took over, and she didn't care if she got retribution. She told him that if she could have the Tianji physique, even if it meant retaliation from the Demon Sealing Palace, she would have nothing to fear. She was astounded that he had 5 types of heavenly physiques, and he could awaken a new one after the other 5 were taken away from him. Lin Bei shrugged, admitting he is a genius. She grinned darkly as a crimson substance emerged on her face. Then a crimson aura developed in her palm, and she whispered darkly that he'll become a useless person again. She then slammed her hand against his back. She then triggered the talent that would take Lin Bei's physique away. Lin Bei gazed at the dumb lady, unconcerned since he was prepared this time. He then unleashed his strength, which alone was enough to fracture the earth and blow her away from him. Elder Zhao was astounded to learn that he had reached the 4th level of the pulse explosion realm. She wondered what type of monster he was. She was shocked since she knew that she had been cultivating for more than 30 years, and it wasn't just her. But it seems Lin Bei surpassed her in the 6th level of the pulse explosion realm, and she quickly realized how dangerous this youngster was. Lin Bei approached her, a blue aura surrounding his body, and smirked, informing her that he had told her that he was a genius. Elder Zhao backed away in terror. She swiftly turned around and fled away, recognizing that she had miscalculated and chose to withdraw. Because of the ruckus she made, she woke up Xiao Jing, who was furious. With remarkable speed, he was instantaneously in front of her, his eyes gleaming and emanating a horrible killing intent. Elder Zhao came to a halt in shock and dread when she recognized the bird. The golden bird then used a tremendous fire technique to burn her to death, and she wailed as she died. Xiao Jin then flew back to his master and went back to sleep. The villagers saw the fire and were immediately worried. Many of them ran towards the hill to check whether their master was all right, and the elderly man inquired anxiously about what had occurred. Lin Bei persuaded the elderly man and the people that it was a minor issue. There was no damage done. The golden bird fell back asleep, and Lin Bei instructed everyone to pack their bags and prepare to go. Everyone nodded as they followed his orders. Lin Bei and the peasants arrived at southern Xinjiang. The old man chuckled joyously, relieved that they had finally arrived. Lin Bei informed the elderly man that things did not look right. Lin Bei was correct in that, as many people were fleeing, and when the elderly man noticed this, he wanted to know what was happening. So he talked to a random villager and informed him that he saw a lot of people fleeing out of the city. He asked what was going on. The random person came to a halt when he observed the elderly man approaching the city with a large group of people. The elderly guy nodded regretfully as he was escaping from something. The person informed him that he had arrived at the wrong city and recommended that he leave as quickly as possible. The old man was shocked to hear this and inquired about what had transpired in the city. The person informed that a bunch of bandits had lately arrived in Qingshui City. This bunch of individuals burnt, slaughtered, and plundered, and they performed horrific acts. The man was terrified as he recounted how, as soon as the commander of these bandits came, he murdered the lord of Qinshui City. People in the city are panicking right now, thinking that their time may come next. So they flee as quickly as they can. Lin Bei was curious, so he asked, "How is the major in Qinshui City?" He then inquired about the bandits' cultivation level. The random person said, "The city lord was said to be at the second level of the Tua Pulse realm, but he was killed by the opponent in 3 moves. It is anticipated that the bandit leader has advanced to at least the 4th level of the Pulse Extension realm." The unknown person recommended Lin Bei to leave the city as soon as possible. The elderly guy wanted to say something, but Lin Bei already knew what he was going to say, so he reassured the old man that it was not a huge deal as it was just the 4th level of the Pulse Extension realm. He then advised that they visit the city and meet the bandits for a time. While people were entering and exiting, Lin Bei looked around and saw that Qinshui was also not small. He thinks to himself that it wouldn't be a terrible idea to claim it and turn it into his own fortress. Inside Qinshui City's lord's mansion, the bandit commander sat on a throne and informed her robber colleagues that the residents of the city had fled in fright. The bandit was furious. He remembered that when he looked at the people in Qinshui City, they were fragile and weak and not in good shape. He shouted that they are all blinded to believe that they are the evil ones. The bold bandit shouted that the lord of Qinshui City has no conscience. "We are just doing justice for heaven, but they treat us as evil ghosts, which makes me angry." That's all for now. Thanks for watching.